Last year, there was 59.3 million refugees and asylum seekers in the world, and in 1 year, over 5 million people forced to flee their homes. And this is really scaring, because this means that there is one person among 113 people in the world is forced to flee, is displaced. In the last 5 years, the number has grown dramatically. It's because 15 wars have been erupted in the world, and that is the main cause of the refugees.
Domani ricorre la giornata mondiale del rifugiato promossa dalla ONU. Il tema di quest'anno è "Con i rifugiati". Noi stiamo dalla parte di chi è costretto a fuggire.
Every day, rivers of urban refugees flow into UNHCR's center in Amman to register or to ask for financial help. Registration allows UNHCR to record individual and family details, and everyone is identified with biometric iris scanning. The El Karim family of 12, parents, grandparents, and 8 children, are here for their biometric iris scan. Father Nizar helps his youngest twins with the biometric photo. The information also protects children, ensuring certain identification if they get lost or are kidnapped. After this, there'll be a home visit to determine if the family is eligible for cash assistance. If so, getting the money will be quick and easy at a bank branch. The El Karim family are part of a world first. Once they're scanned by UNHCR, they won't have to register at a bank or open an account. Their eyes will deliver the money directly.
Well, the FBI maintains a face recognition database of over 411 million photos from sources including driver's licenses, passports, and visa applications. A new Government Accountability Office, or GAO, report says the majority of those faces are people who have never committed a crime.
If you've done this, you're already part of a revolution in mobile technology. Biometrics, the science of measuring features or functions of the human body to establish your identity. Passwords, pins, usernames, infuriatingly hard to remember and downright dangerous. That's why innovative startups are popping up around the world, solving the security problem with biometrics.
We actually use the vein patterns in your eye.
iVerify discovered that the blood vessels in the whites of your eyes are as unique as the whorls on the tips of your fingers.
Enter my name. Gosh, this is fast. Done.
Well, here's a story you won't see on the mainstream evening news. Yes, President Obama has imported 1 million Muslims during his presidency. This story comes to us from Carolyn May over at Breitbart. She reports that a chart has now been released by the Senate Subcommittee on Immigration and the National Interest on Friday, and it details the surge in immigration to the United States from majority Muslim countries since President Barack Obama took office in 2009. They state here that specifically in the first 6 fiscal years of President Obama's presidency, fiscal year 09 through fiscal year 2014, his administration issued 832,000 green cards to migrants majority Muslim countries. That's according to, it says here, the total new permanent residents did not include migrants on temporary non-migrant visas, which allow foreign nationals to come to the U.S. temporarily for work, study, tourism, and the like.
All right, the Department of Homeland Security now being told to combat violent extremism with sensitivity after an advisory council recommended the agency avoid, quote, stigmatizing specific communities by using words that might be insensitive or disrespectful to Muslims. These include jihad and Sharia.
Is something big on the horizon? Well, a report has stated that FEMA has quietly activated their civilian corps. SHTF reports that FEMA just quietly activated its Hush Hush civilian corps last week, and the message began with, quote, "That was the very odd message about FEMA that came into my spam box at work." They said the message was titled, "FEMA activates its Hush civilian corps. Why now?" The email was signed from Neshama, a Jewish nonprofit disaster preparedness corporation. The screen capture has been archived at the link below. It's something to think about that could possibly, what could go down in the U.S., or is this just a normal training situation? Now, the article raises the question, they think it seems like strange timing right before Bilderberg, or coincidentally, or not, right before our government and the mainstream media are reporting the worst mass shooting in American history in Orlando.
إثارة غير مسبوقة حملتها لقطات لثوان معدودة إصدار بثته ما تسمى بولاية الفرات للإشادة بهجمات باريس. تظهر رجلا يعد حزاما ناسفا، وأخرى تبين منطقة تايم سكوير وسط نيويورك. لقطات كانت كفيلة بتحريك وسائل الإعلام لتعلن أن المدينة ربما تكون مهددة بهجوم للدولة الإسلامية.
If you're headed to Boston today, you may notice some extra activity around Fenway Park. Police and first responders will join with members of the Army today to simulate an attack and response at the ballpark. In order to really test preparedness and technology, these agencies want to make it as real as possible, including the use of police dogs, metal detectors, and drones. There could also be some simulated gunshots and explosions. People are asked to avoid the area this morning during the test.
Gunfire erupts outside Fenway Park. Red Sox fans sent running for dear life. It's all a part of a full-scale counterterrorism exercise by Homeland Security and Boston Police.
This type of training helps us get ready and be proactive should an incident like this happen.
On Sunday, several agencies responded to a simulated active shooter and terrorist incident inside Fenway Park. The exercise even involved a drone as a threat to public safety.
This is about neutralizing threats that can hurt a ballpark like this or hurt any open door type large crowd event.
The horrific Orlando mass shooting at a gay nightclub made this scene all the more real and necessary. Bloody faces, bomb-sniffing dogs, and various safety technologies, all in an effort to make it as real as it gets to tighten up security.
These drones are going to kind of augment our radiation sensing capability that our manned aircraft have had for many years. So we can put them in situations that otherwise we wouldn't put people in. So more dangerous situations we could send the drone where we wouldn't send a manned aircraft because of radiological dangers or other kind of threats. A drone could easily go and get some measurements when otherwise we wouldn't be able to. So that's the biggest advantage.
One week after a gunman killed 49 people at an LGBT nightclub in Orlando, members of the Joy Metropolitan Community Church gathered to comfort each other.
Together.
The church is located only about a mile from the site of the shooting, and many of its members are gay.
This is a time that we all need to get together and pray on this. Doesn't matter, gay, straight, it doesn't matter. It's just a terrible tragic that just happened.
Some religious leaders preach that homosexuality is a sin, but Joy's senior pastor, Terry Steed Pierce, rejects that.
For so long, the message has been wrong out there that we can't be both gay and Christian, and you really can't. It's not oxymoronic.
She says she's working to get that message out, and not just to heterosexual people, but to the gay community as well.
In the gay world, because I'm Christian, I'm not really accepted, because Christianity has rejected gay people, so I understand that. So they're not really sure what to do with me. And then, of course, the Christian world, because I'm gay, doesn't, they just totally reject me. So I stand in the middle of all that.
You will see the rainbow.
In the end, she says, love always wins. But in the meantime, the church's members turn to each other for communion and comfort.
we're having a prayer action. This is a collection of interfaith clergy all gathered together to pray for a city, a society, a culture in which we deal with faith over fear.
Our message to Mr. Trump, but also to our community, is that this is a time in which we have to embrace the message of faith, the message of love, the message of hope and inclusion over the message of fear and division.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. I'm singing and praying. I'm singing and praying with my mind.
As the Donald Trump rally got underway this weekend at the Treasure Island Hotel and Casino, a young man approached a police officer stationed at the event and asked for an autograph. Then, without warning, the man went for the officer's gun, trying to take it away, only to be quickly subdued. Authorities now say that Michael Sanford, 19, allegedly told the Secret Service that this was an attempt to kill Trump. A complaint obtained by ABC News claims Sanford, who has a British driver's license, had been planning to assassinate Trump for about a year. He allegedly told the Secret Service he had driven from California to Las Vegas on June 16th to kill Trump after seeing news reports that the candidate would be there. A day later, he went to a Vegas gun range to learn how to shoot. It's the latest security scare involving Trump, who also had a man try to rush the stage of an Ohio rally in March.
An American engineer in Berkeley has made the world's first robot whose main purpose is to hurt humans. Experts say the new robot breaks the first rule in the science fiction writer Isaac Asimov's famous laws of robotics, which says machines should never hurt humans. The robot's only weapon is a small needle attached to a long arm, which is used to inflict a small amount of suffering on a human victim. The robot randomly decides whether to attack people who are brave enough to put their finger beneath its arm, although it's not strong enough to cause major injury. The inventor says the aim of the project is not to hasten the end of humanity, but to encourage people to start discussing the prospect that robots can soon have some terrifying powers.
Quite extraordinary, Becky, because the weather woes never seem to end in this country for weeks, even months. People in this country have been really just praying for one thing, and that is for the monsoons to arrive, because after 2 years of drought, their farmland has been desecrated. There's been this heat wave that's been sweeping across the country, killing hundreds of people. And now it's the monsoons that are killing people. As you mentioned, 90 people killed just in a matter of 24 hours, mainly in this one state of Bihar. Most of the people who died were farmers, because this is a time as the monsoons arrive when farmers are out planting their rice crop.
We begin with new information tonight on an 18-year-old from Westerville who died after contracting a brain-eating amoeba.
Well, Mike and Colleen, NBC4 is choosing not to identify this victim out of respect to her family. But we have learned she was traveling with a church music group touring North Carolina and a few other states. Pastor Jim Wilson of Church of the Messiah United Methodist Church says the teen that died was part of his church's youth music ministry group.
They went down to North Carolina and sang at some churches and nursing homes along the way. They had one day of recreation where they stopped at the U.S. Whitewater Center and went whitewater rafting, and they had a grand day.
It's not clear where the girl contracted the disease, but Wilson says that's the only place the group went where there was water. The U.S. National Whitewater Center in Charlotte, North Carolina tells NBC4 it met with local health officials this afternoon to discuss this case. According to the Centers for Disease Control, the amoeba found in freshwater lakes, rivers, and hot springs enters the body through the nose. It's rare, but usually deadly.
At 6'6", Brian Parrott is used to standing tall, but after his recent trip to Galveston, this security guard and married father of 3 has never felt lower.
Today he made the statement, "I don't know how much more of this I can take."
These are photos of Brian's right foot, red, covered in boils, infected so bad that doctors had to amputate below the calf, and he's still in intensive care at LBJ Hospital, while relatives stand by in shock over how it happened.
The problem I have is they didn't know about it. If they had known about it, they surely wouldn't have put the great-grandkids in there, or his grandkids.
Parrott took his son and grandkids to a Galveston beach. They spent about 2 hours in the water without trouble. Days later, though, Parrott began vomiting, then noticed sores on his leg. Officials have not confirmed it's a flesh-eating infection nor its origin, but Galveston's health department says flesh-eating bacteria lives in coastal waters and can infect when an open wound is exposed to brackish or salt water.
This is what 6-year-old Bella is known for, her smile. You never guess it's the same little girl in this picture.
I was scared at first and just a little horrified, and she was in a lot of pain, so I was just concerned for her.
Bella's mom, Nicole Sullivan, says she went to Huntington Beach with her father on Saturday. She had a small cut on her face, but they never thought that would lead to what it did.
I thought maybe it was poison ivy, so I just put some Caladryl lotion on it and some Benadryl. Tuesday morning she woke up and both eyes were completely closed shut, and she was completely swollen, her face and her neck, and then her arms also.
Sullivan says Bella's doctor diagnosed her with impetigo. It's a bacterial infection they believe Bella developed after the water got into her scrape.
Meanwhile, 2 explosive wildfires now are on the brink of merging in Southern California. The fires, in fact, have already forced hundreds in the suburbs of Los Angeles to evacuate. Around 4,500 acres have been torched, and firefighters are still working to get the upper hand. There are more, in fact, than a dozen wildfires burning out west, and record-breaking heat is not making the fights on various fronts any easier. Death Valley, in fact, could hit 120 degrees today. You see the number there in Phoenix could get over 110.
So there's a big concern about that right now, because we've got these temperatures that are rising throughout the day. We're expecting another day of triple-digit heat. We've got the reservoir fire and we've got the fish fire. They're about 1.5 miles apart right now, and that is the concern, that these 2 fires could merge together at some point and become one giant fire.
Multiple rounds of storms have dumped inches of rain on Washington, D.C., causing flooding in some areas. Metro riders tweeted videos and images showing the Cleveland Park station absolutely flooded. Look at that. The station closed down Tuesday evening, and shuttle buses are available. A Metro board member said in a tweet the situation was unacceptable and dangerous, and asked Metro to provide an explanation. Metro Red Line trains were bypassing Cleveland Park because of the flooding, and the storm not only produced damaging winds, but large hail was also reported throughout the area.
Well, the first day of summer arrived yesterday, and with it a pretty rare and sweet sight, the strawberry moon. That's the nickname for the full moon in the month of June. But since it came on the summer solstice, it was a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence. You see why they call it the strawberry moon? By the way, this is the last time that these 2 celestial events coincide. The last time it coincided was reportedly back in 1967. And you're out of luck if you missed it, because it won't happen again until 2062. I get why I would call it strawberry wine more than a strawberry moon.